Running through my mind all day, waiting for her show to play. Turn your radio on, she's gonna play your favorite song.
Hi, everybody. This is Brandi Richard Thompson, and this is the Operation Growth Show. And we are thrilled to have you here with us today in Mercury retrograde, where all kinds of wonderful things are happening on this side of the production of this show. So I hope that the positives of Mercury retrograde are with all of you, that you are meeting old friends, that you are repairing relationships, that you are going back over projects and making them exquisite so that you will be ready to move forward, and that your technical challenges are at a minimum. How about that? So, today on the Operation Growth Show, we are going to talk about coaching. We're going to talk about what it is and what it is not, in order to help you to determine whether or not you want a coach, need a coach, have found the right coach or not. And it was prompted by something that happened to me recently, where someone tried to explain to me what, in fact, coaching was. And it was very interesting. And so I'll share it with you shortly. But today we're going to talk a lot about the MMS coaching method that I learned through the mother of coaching, Dr. Cherie Carter Scott, and a little bit about ICF, the International Coaching Federation, and how that works with coaching as an art, as a science, as a way that people help you to ascertain what you would like to have in your life. We'll talk a little bit about some other ways that you can get support, whether it's from a technical expert, whether it's from a mentor who can help you to achieve goals in your life, and how coaching fits into that, so that you can make educated decisions. That is the goal, because there's so many people calling themselves coaches. There's so many people who are a part of this $billion coaching industry, that I think it's important for all of us to know how to do it, because most of us, even if we're in the profession, I love coaching so much, I believe in it so much that I am actually coached, are availing ourselves of opportunities to learn more about ourselves and to grow. And so I think this is very timely as we move into the fourth quarter of the year, as you get ready to start making plans for next year, figure out what you're going to do with yourself, with your life, with your business, with your work. It's an awesome time to start to reevaluate where you are and who could potentially help you to take yourself into the next year of your life. So with that, we're going to move right into our Operation Growth moment. All right, so here's what happened to me. So I was having a conversation with an individual about coaching, and they were basically saying that coaching was like having an athletic coach. And I'm so much more astute about sports because of my husband. It's all his fault. He has me watching sports all the freaking time. And there are all these coaches, and, there are lots of coaches in the news right now doing all types of terrible things to Nia Long. Anywho, the coaching profession as it relates to sports is very different from the coaching profession that we have, as coaches. And so his comment to me was, coaching is kind of related to this sports thing. And so coaches should provide like some tough love and some no nonsense support in order to help clients, help people to get to where they want to be. And that is true and not true, because on the one hand, there is a level of leadership that's required as a coach to lead people in a way that they can find their own answers. And so when you say that there's some tough love and some expectation around how you will do your own work with coaching, absolutely, that is true. But the idea that coaching as a profession to help you to identify your own answers is the same as coaching world class athletes is, I don't know. I don't think that that's the same thing, because not because you can't coach world class athletes as a coach in what I do, but as coaches, we don't know what your answers are, nor are we trying to guide you there. So, that is the biggest part of this moment that I want you to get, is that mentors, or individuals who have an interest, a vested interest, sometimes athletic coaches, sometimes professors, parents, spouses, sometimes have a vested interest in taking you a certain direction, or helping you to identify um, how to be successful in a specific way, or how to be successful to get you to where you want to go. Whereas coaching helps you to identify your own answers, your own why, your own next steps to help you to get to where you want to go. And it's very, very different. And so when you think about a coach versus a mentor or an athletic coach who has a goal of winning games, or getting you to the highest level of your sport, that's very different than a coach who is just there to be genuinely interested, supportive, um, in helping you to identify your own answers, and helping you to get to the place that ultimately you would like to be in your life. And so, I just want to make sure that in this moment, you understand that coaching world class athletes is a little bit different than the coaching that we do. So, those two words are not synonymous, and we don't do the exact same things as athletic coaches, especially not to knee along. Anywho, the other moment that I think is amazing, and I have to look at this because, I don't know all of these people. And I talked about The Little Mermaid last week. And The Little Mermaid is very important to me, as you know, because of the mermaid tradition in um, African culture, and the things that we should know about the fact that mermaids historically have been Black. And we will talk about that some other time in our history classes. However, Halle Bailey has a boyfriend. And due to Amanda Seals is a person that I watch and follow because she's hilarious. And she said that Halle Bailey's boyfriend actually was posted. His name is DDG. DDG. Okay. Says that he wasn't aware that racism was still an issue until all of the Little Mermaid backlash that Halle received. Because, quote, I thought Martin Luther King canceled that shit out. And, you know, as others in Amanda's generation, I have a side eye, and I'm thinking, like, why is she even dating this person? Um, but the reason why I think it's important in this moment, and this is part 2 of our Operation Growth moment, if you're counting and paying attention, is that some of us have what I would term blind spots. And I'm calling this a blind spot because clearly our educational system has neglected to teach our young people about our history so that they are aware of what people of color still face in this country, and what our history really means, and what Martin Luther King really was able to accomplish and what he was not able to accomplish. The fact that, up until his death, he was pretty much vilified. Anywho, we're not going to go into a history lesson from Brandi, but the goal here is to understand that one of the reasons why coaching is so important is to help you to identify your blind spots before you say something foolish like that on television, and, have people thinking that your girlfriend shouldn't date you anymore. So, This idea that we know all there is to know about ourselves, and this concept of knowing yourself, as I've talked about quite a bit, is definitely true. You do have the capacity to learn all there is to know about you so that you can be even more successful. It's at the basis of who you are, it's at the basis of your self confidence, and all of these wonderful things. Yet, many of us do have blind spots. And one of the reasons why coaching is so helpful and so important is to help you to see some things that maybe you have not seen about yourself by your coach reflecting back to you what they've heard you say, what they've seen in your posture, how they've seen you move. And some of that is information you wouldn't have otherwise, information you wouldn't have until you let it slip that you thought that Martin Luther King did it, all that racism stuff back in the day. And so, two moments. Coaching world class athletes is different than the science and art of coaching. And we all have blind spots. We all have areas of our lives that aren't going to be so wonderful when they come to light because we didn't realize we, in fact, had an issue understanding our own history. And so, therefore, we can all of us, benefit from coaching. And that, my dears, is our Operation Growth moment. We'll be right back with more from the Operation Growth Show. So join me next year, February, for Black Girl Magic School. If you have not participated before, it is a treat. You will enjoy it. So I hope that you will get your funds together and get ready to join me next year. If you have questions, please feel free to reach out and get your answers before February. Now, back to our conversation about what coaching is and what coaching is not. So I wanted to share just a bit of just the way that we go about looking at human beings and supporting them in their coaching. And we know that as creatures of habit, as human beings, we like familiar, we like predictable, sometimes controlled circumstances. And there are times in our lives when things get shaken up, sometimes like an earthquake, as Dr. Cherie Carter Scott would like to say, that take you off balance, take you off of what the norm and the prescripted way that you like to do things has been. I like to call that a growth moment or a growth opportunity, when something kind of comes into your life and shakes up the foundation of who you are. And you have a choice, an opportunity to either, throw up your hands and say, this is ridiculous and bull pucky and whatever, and move forward with the way that you have been, the way that you have approached life, the things that you've done that led you to this earthquake or growth moment, if you will. Or you have an opportunity to switch course, edit, decide to do something a little bit different, elevate to another version of yourself. And all of that is on you. But when you find these things happen in your life, that is a great time to begin to work with a coach, because those upsets, those fears, those challenges that you face that maybe you haven't challenged before are a wonderful opportunity for change, growth, different mindset in your life. And so that would be a great time to reach out to a coach. Now, the difference between reaching out to a coach and maybe reaching out to your boss or a mentor or some of the other folks that I talked about in our growth moment is that a coach is not concerned about the outcome, is not concerned about whether or not you achieve a certain level of success, whether or not you do it to a specific standard, whatever it is that you're doing, your work, your life, etc. The coach is genuinely interested in you, helping you to be successful in whatever way that you desire to be successful. And one of the reasons why we often favor a mentor or someone who can provide us with technical expertise or someone who has been in the game for I don't know how many years and has done it successfully to give us advice and support is that we don't believe that we know how to make our lives better. We think that the information from others is what we need. The template from someone else is what we need in order to be successful in our lives. And the truth is, it's not going to work for you. What I did specifically, every step that I took, is not going to work for anyone other than me. Genu- Generally, right? I may be able to show you how to craft a document, or I may be able to show you how to um, invest in stocks. I may be able to show you the mechanics of that. But all of the ways that I went about creating the life that I wanted, all the ways that Denzel worked at becoming an actor, or Viola Davis or Oprah Winfrey became, this icon, those steps won't exactly work for you. And so the goal is for a coach like myself to help you to identify what steps within what it is that you want to do, what it is that your inner knowing is telling you that you should do, will help you to get to where you want to go. Now, that does not mean that you can't have a mentor or someone who has achieved success in a specific area of expertise that you'd like to achieve to talk to you, to give you some tips and some pointers about where it is that you want to go. I'm not saying that. But the difference between coaching and helping you to identify your own answers and working with one of those people where they're basically giving you the answers is just that helping you to find your own answers is beneficial to all of us, but sometimes we don't think that our own answers are good enough. We think that whatever everyone else has been able to do is so much better than what it is that we will be able to do. And your coach will help you to even see that. And so there are lots of different areas that you can be coached in. And one of the reasons why I think coaching is so powerful is that we can help you with the ways that you show up in the world, whether it's helping you not to be as judgmental. We can help you with leadership, your leadership skills. We can help you to determine what your next chapter might be, or if maybe it's time for you to continue to do the thing that you're currently doing. We can help you with habits. We can help you to be more respectful of yourself and understand your value and your ability to actually create the life of your dreams. And in that, we're basically helping you to be the architect of your life, be the architect of your own life, not leaning on what you think that everyone else wants you to do, or what maybe your boss would like for you to do, or your leadership team, or other individuals in your life who are trying to direct you towards a prescribed outcome. I'll give you an example. There was a time in my life when I wanted to run for office within an organization, and the leadership of the organization had already predetermined what they thought I was really good at based on what they saw me doing before, and said, okay, you have skill in this area. We would like for you to do this role. And actually brought it to me, suggested that I do that role, which was a role I would have to run for. Didn't really want to do that, but that's what they wanted me to do. But as I sat with myself, and at that time I did not have a coach, and just thought about my next steps, what I thought was best for me in my life at that moment, I chose something else. I chose another path, another role that I really wanted to do, and was ultimately successful in that role. But if I had listened to those individuals who they didn't have it out for me or in for me, they wanted me to be successful, but they saw something in me that wasn't necessarily what I wanted to do. And if I had just followed their laid out path for me, would I have been successful in that? Probably. But I was more successful, more happy, more fulfilled, more in line with my purpose and what I've been placed here to do by deciding for myself. And so the goal of your coach is to support you in those decisions and helping you to decide ultimately what you want to do for yourself. Now, there are some hybrids, and I do have clients that I work with that we do a hybrid approach where we do some coaching and we help them to identify their own answers and where they want to go, set goals, etc. But we may also talk about my expertise in certain areas, and I may be able to give them some insight on what I did that was successful in order to give them ideas, thoughts that can help them to develop and shape what it is ultimately that they want to do. Um, but that is a difference. That's the difference between mentorship, coaching. There are also other ways that you can get support from people. We have a lot of people who are out in the industry now who um, label themselves as coaches, but their coaching is more specific to their technical expertise. So they can coach you in developing a phenomenal website, or they can coach you in Google Analytics, or they can coach you in becoming a successful entrepreneur. But that coaching is a little bit different sometimes than the coaching that is the international coaching standard, where we help you to find your own answers. And we can do that on a personal level. We can do it on a professional level. We can do it in any area of your life. So the idea that someone can only be an executive coach, or only be a leadership coach, or only be a life coach, or only be a personal coach is really not true. We've just decided what area we would like to go in, and we've decided how we want to market ourselves so that we can do the type of work that we would like to do. But we can coach anybody on anything. The last point that I want to make about coaching, and it has to do with my decision to coach people of color and, people who um, need my help in different ways, is that we bring our not only biases, conscious and unconscious, but we also bring our full selves to any of these coaching conversations that we have. And in order for some of my clients to feel supported and protected and in a safe space, it's helpful to them to have not only coaches who have a variety of expertise in a lot of different areas that we talked about, more of a technical coach, but also the opportunity to work with a coach who gets some of the challenges that they face, so that they're not also having to overcome bias in the coaching process. And so that's why I think it's beautiful that we have all kinds of coaches all over the world that you can choose from, to give you the support that you really need in order to help you to achieve and become your best self. So, that is coaching. I hope that has been extremely helpful to you as you decide whether or not you would like to have a coach and what that looks like. And we will be right back. We'd love to hear from you. Let us know if you have an Operation Growth moment that you would like us to feature right here on the Operation Growth Show. Use hashtag Operation Growth and tag us at Brandi Richard Thompson or at Operation Growth. We get stories from all over the place, and we would love to hear from you. The Operation Growth Show is looking for guests just like you. So if you're interested in sharing your expertise or you're interested in sharing your product or service right here on the Operation Growth Show, let us know. We'd love to work with you. All right. So thank you for joining this episode of the Operation Growth Show. We will be back, of course, with another exciting and awesome episode next week. So I hope you will join me right here at the same time next week. But I'd like to leave you with a question. What blind spots you are dealing with so that we can grow together and we can get better at understanding not only our strengths, but also the weaknesses, even the ones we don't know anything about. So, have a wonderful week. I will see you next time right here on the Operation Growth Show. Bye for now.